Kensington, nestled within Philadelphia, bears the haunting moniker of Zombie City.
This place is the epicenter of Philadelphia's opioid crisis, the largest open-air drug market in the Northeast.
Has a huge issue to tackle, and that is drugs in our city, especially in
Emergency declarations usually happen after things like tornadoes, hurricanes, and natural disasters, but some are now calling for a Philly neighborhood to be designated a disaster.
The opioid crisis has been going on for a long time.
The Parker administration has declared a public safety emergency, and it has clearing Kensington as a goal, clearing it of its drug abuse, of its
City Councilman at large Alan Dom says this is a humanitarian crisis.
A place of open drug abuse where tents shield against the cold and the addicted writhe in agony.
It's the worst neighborhood in the United States as far as homelessness, drug abuse.
Kensington Avenue, its eerie epicenter, pulsates with an unnerving aura, a result of residents behaving akin to zombies due to the surge of drug peddlers and addicts. The area stands as an urgent hotspot for drug emergencies, painting a picture of horror movie scenes with individuals under the influence sitting listlessly, needles clinging to their skin, and staggering in a haunting trance. Philadelphia finds itself reeling from the brutal impact of the opioid crisis. In 2019, the city mourned 1,150 overdose deaths. By 2020, this figure surged to 1,214, and projections for 2021 tipped the scale at 1,250. The grim reality doesn't stop there. Philadelphia County, home to Kensington, boasts the highest overdose rate among America's 10 most populous counties, tallying a harrowing 88.6 deaths per 100,000 people only between March 2022 and February 2023. Adding to this grim tapestry is Philadelphia's high crime rate. In a 2022 survey by the Pew Charitable Trusts, a staggering 70% of residents pinpointed the blend of crime, drugs, and public safety as the city's most pressing issue. But why does Kensington bear the brunt of this crisis more acutely than other locales? It's a tale etched in history, often overlooked yet pivotal to grasp the present landscape. Philadelphia, once an industrial juggernaut dubbed the workshop of the world, boasted iconic hubs like the Baldwin Locomotive Works and the Philadelphia Navy Yard, crucial employers in Kensington. However, the 1920s ushered in a seismic shift. Mass-produced goods flooded markets, undercutting Kensington's industrial backbone. Cheaper goods from other regions, the ascendancy of diesel locomotives, and post-World War I declines in shipbuilding spelled doom for Kensington's factories, resulting in colossal job losses by the 1930s. This industrial decline didn't merely scar Kensington. It reverberated across Philadelphia. The city metamorphosed from manufacturing-centric to service-oriented, leaving scores of industrial workers without jobs or skills suited for the evolving economy. While the decline began in the 1920s, the effects continue to this day. Generations have grown up amidst limited economic opportunities, perpetuating the cycle of poverty and hardship. The median household income plummeted to around $25,000, half the Philadelphia average. Unemployment soared to a staggering 20%, 4 times the citywide rate. This economic desert created a poverty rate of 30% in Kensington, twice Philadelphia's average, leaving swathes of residents grappling to meet basic needs. This tale of industrial demise morphed Kensington into a breeding ground for illicit activities, a poignant testament to the intertwining issues of unemployment, poverty, and the opioid crisis that continue to afflict the area. In the latter part of the 20th century, Philadelphia, including Kensington, emerged as the epicenter of the opioid crisis, marred by widespread heroin usage and its harrowing aftermath. Kensington, in particular, gained infamy for harboring an open-air drug marketplace, the largest of its kind on the East Coast, offering a range of illicit substances, from heroin and fentanyl to the newly surfaced tranq, or xylazine. Positioned strategically near major highways and railway lines, Kensington became a hotspot easily accessible to both drug consumers and suppliers from neighboring regions. This accessibility surged demand and ignited the flourishing of an expansive open-air drug trade, adding to the area's woes. Economic hardships left a trail of abandoned buildings and vacant lots, perfect hideaways for drug peddlers. These neglected spaces acted as magnets, drawing users from across the city and beyond. It's no wonder this territory earned the moniker Badlands during the tumultuous times of the 1980s and 1990s. Kensington's legacy, steeped in poverty, addiction, and violence, spun a relentless cycle of trauma that remains dauntingly hard to sever. This cycle often entraps residents, offering the drug market as a dire means of livelihood. What sets Kensington apart is the sheer scale and visibility of its drug market, a stark contrast to other cities, where such transactions might occur discreetly or within localized spheres. This troubled chronicle of Kensington hit its apex in the late 1990s and early 2000s. It became the focal point of Philadelphia's opioid epidemic, witnessing a surge in heroin use and addiction that ushered in a tide of overdose deaths, crime, and a social fabric fraying at its seams. However, the crisis took a more perilous turn with the advent of fentanyl, a synthetic opioid 50 to 100 times more potent than heroin, emerging in the late 2000s. Its clandestine blend with other drugs made detection challenging, unleashing a devastating wave of overdose fatalities. The ramifications of fentanyl surpass those of heroin, escalating overdoses and causing grave health complications like skin infections and tissue necrosis. Its potency amplifies the peril, significantly heightening the risk of overdoses and fatalities among users. Shockingly, a 2021 study revealed that a staggering 91% of drug samples tested in Philadelphia contained fentanyl. But what steps has the government taken to combat this crisis? Philadelphia's administration has launched multiple initiatives to tackle the drug scourge, particularly in Kensington. A coalition of government bodies, ranging from the Philadelphia Department of Public Health and the Office of Drug and Alcohol Abuse Services to law enforcement agencies, have pooled efforts. They offer an array of harm reduction services, treatment programs, and outreach endeavors. This includes distributing naloxone kits, establishing safe injection sites, and syringe exchange programs aimed at averting overdoses and curbing disease spread. Furthermore, they've allocated funds to partner with community organizations, supporting them in providing social services, job training, and educational pathways, aiming to divert residents from the drug cycle. However, critics argue that the government's financial backing for these crucial programs falls short, considering the gravity of the crisis. This shortfall hampers the expansion of harm reduction services, treatment availability, and community support initiatives. The bureaucratic pace also impedes swift adaptation and implementation of effective solutions, especially amid rapidly evolving crises like the fentanyl epidemic. This sluggishness leaves vulnerable residents without the necessary aid, exacerbating their plight. While law enforcement strives to disrupt drug trafficking, critics caution against an overemphasis on punitive measures, fearing it may stigmatize addiction and neglect the problem's root causes, potentially alienating addicts further. Adding to this, a prevailing issue is the low public awareness, especially concerning the homeless and addicts. Many addicts resist assistance, compounding the challenge. As a result, Philadelphia's drug crisis remains severe, with the possibility of worsening in the future. Have you ventured into Kensington before? Share your experiences in the comments below. Don't forget to support us with a like and subscribe to stay tuned for more. Thank you, and until the next episode.